Don't let stuff like this stress you out. I'm about to inject some positivity into your life. All those nasty garden weeds that stress you out, make you come out here and weed your garden, they actually make me really excited. A lot of people say the hardest part of having a garden is the weeding. It takes an activity that's supposed to be relaxing and fulfilling and adds a stress factor, which is not what we're looking for. So when something stresses me out, I try to find a way to flip it around and turn it into something that's more fulfilling. And weeds are one of those things. So I can walk through my garden. I can fill buckets of weeds. I could probably get like 20 to 30 gallons in one pass through here. So instead of getting all worked up about it, I go through here and find ways to use these weeds to make my garden a better place. So let's start out with some positivity right here. The thistle. Nobody likes the thistles. I'll come through here with something like this. I will go next to the thistle as deep as possible and just shake the soil. And here we have the thistle. I look at this as free biomass. They have deep root systems, so they mine nutrients and store them in these leaves. So this is something that would be really nutritious for your compost pile. Same here, we have some grass that spreads by rhizomes. Now you're thinking this is something you don't want to put in your compost pile. And you are right until you do something like this. See these roots? That's how these spread. Crack those roots off. And now you just have green biomass to go right into the compost. Same with the thistle. We don't want the roots of the thistle to spread. We can crack those off. So number one, biomass for composting. Free biomass. And so we don't waste anything. I'm going to show you how I take care of this stuff so it doesn't spread through my compost and cause a nightmare. So there's two ways to turn this into something good. We can compost these weeds with fire and turn them into ash, which is good for your garden. Or you can set yourself up a nice barrel here with some holes in the top and create yourself a zero light condition where you can throw these rhizome spreading weeds and you fill this up with water. When you fill it up with water and you let the weeds sit in there, they turn into this disgusting soup that smells absolutely terrible. And that's what I got going on in here, as well as some fish guts. So this is going to smell really bad when I open it. This is absolutely putrid. So we're going to close that up. So what you can do here is you take this nasty water that's in here and you dilute it, and you're diluting it with water, so you're thinning it out. This is great fertilizer for your plants. And once you've done that a few times, you're still going to have a little soupy mess left over in here. At this point, these plants are dead, and they're fine to go in your compost pile. And I'm also going to be taking some of my biochar and putting it straight into this liquid to inoculate it. Let's take a look at a really easy thing you can do here. I have this burdock growing here. A lot of people don't like the burdock because you can't dig it out. It's almost impossible to get rid of. These roots go really far down. But to me, it's kind of like the comfrey then. It's mining nutrients. So we'll just go ahead. I can come here, just tear all these leaves off, and then go to something like the garlic here and just leave it on top of the soil. So this is called chop and drop. We're just taking these things here, covering up the soil. Now, these are going to break down and feed these plants. And while doing this, we are actually creating a mulch here that's going to suppress other weeds. So we're preventing weeds and feeding plants with weeds. So when I see big leafy plants like these docks pop up, I get really excited. I can come here all season long and just tear away at this plant and just have free mulch, free fertilizer, free biomass. We even got a curly dock that popped up on its own right next to this plum tree. Plum tree does not seem to mind. I'll just come through here and rip that curly dock up and put it right on the soil there. I mean, how cool is that? We've got primrose, we've got dandelions, grasses, thistles. It's basically a garden full of free resources. And the cool part is the ones you can't get rid of by digging them up just come back. So it replenishes itself. So we've got compost material, biomass, fertilizer, mulch, chop and drop. We're gonna get onto my favorite here. The real reason that gets me excited to come out here and weed my garden. Free chicken food. Once again, my chicken composting system has gotten quite a bit larger. We're gonna be getting some more workers for the chicken composting system. I'm not completely done with this, but let's go ahead and let the birds out into the new run. That's why they're making a lot of noise. They wanna come out here. So all the weeds from my garden, I don't care if they're stuff that might be considered toxic or not, they go right to the chickens. The chickens will process all these weeds here. They'll eat what they want. The rest of it is going to be scratched up, and eventually you start just building compost. Now I think it's almost time to harvest some compost in here. It's getting a little deep in this section. And I will take some of the grasses that spread by rhizomes or anything with seeds in it. I'll put it under the covered run, which doesn't get much light at all. So as the chickens scratch that up, it might try to germinate or spread, but the plants will eventually die off due to no light, less moisture, and chicken pressure. Just by doing this, I have cut my chicken food costs down by 75%. So if the weeding in your garden is making you feel down, just look at all the positive ways you can take those weeds and turn them into something great. Free biomass. Thanks for watching.